There are many misconceptions and myths prevalent in our society. Some of them pertain to human sexuality. People think sex is only for procreation, begetting children. Once that job is achieved, they should not have sex. Why? Because it weakens them. Health will be spoiled. There is another belief that brahmacharya and conserving and preserving semen will lead to longevity. These are all not true. Sex has got many beneficial effects. What are they? Let us see. Sex benefits heart. Sexual activity is an aerobic activity which burns 200 calories. Because of this, the people who have regular sex complain of less incidence of heart attacks. In other words, sex is protective to the heart. The question will now come, what is meant by regular sex? Sex at least once a week is regular sex. The second thing is, sex increases longevity. Studies have demonstrated, and they have evidence-based research. It clearly tells that people who have regular sex live longer by 5 to 8 years. In people who have regular sex, the pain of arthritis, migraine, etc. is much reduced. How? This is because certain chemicals like endorphins are released in our body when an orgasm is achieved. So endorphins will reduce the intensity of the pain. Again, in elderly men, there is a reduction of the male hormone testosterone. This condition is known as andropause or late onset hypogonadism. Every time a man ejaculates and experiences orgasm, the levels of testosterone surge. This replenishes the reduction in testosterone levels in elderly males. Again, the incidence of depression is very much less in people who resort to regular sex. Most important, sex is a stress buster. Remember, stress should not cause problem in your sexual activity. On the contrary, regular sex will relieve you of your stress. That's why it's called stress buster. Now, there is a preliminary evidence that in a woman who have lumps in the breast, the progression of the lumps in the breast to cancerous stage is delayed. The woman has regular sex. That's very important for us to understand. In men, we have a gland called prostate, which is situated just below the urinary bladder. After the age of 45 or 50, this prostate gland in many people, many men, will start enlarging. This condition is known as benign prostatic hypertrophy or prostatic enlargement. Now, a man who has regular sex and ejaculates regularly, the incidence of benign prostatic hypertrophy is very much less. It's very important for us to understand. Similarly, people who have regular sex, their brain is well stimulated due to release of the hormones, and they remain active in elderly age also. So the incidence of dementia and other degenerating problems becomes less. And in couples who have regular sex, their bonding and intimacy increases. It's very clearly demonstrated. So friends, please remember, sex is beneficial, is not harmful, to the overall general health. Remember, there are three things in our body which either you can use it or you lose it. What are they? Brain. If you don't use your brain regularly, then you may progress to Alzheimer's. Again, if you don't walk or exercise regularly, your joints will become creaky and become stiff and will develop arthritis. The third one is genitals. If you don't use your genitals regular basis, then your genitals will stop functioning when you want after a long gap. So either use it or lose it. Choice is yours.